evening, Mr. and Ms. Internet, and all our ships at sea. Oh, welcome to the Freeway Forum. Coming to you live from the world-famous 405 Freeway in beautiful, sunny Southern California. This is the Freeway Forum. I am your host, Atari. And we will be here for the next however long it takes us to get out of traffic. Talking about the day's stories and other assorted sundries. There's a chance where you can fire back at me. We have a little discussion here, and of course we'll maintain civility, and we learn from we learn from each other. We'll learn something from each other. Anyway, yeah, just as soon as I can get moving here. I guess officially Mario Day. Hoo-hoo! Which is fun. I guess it's the day that we're supposed to celebrate Super Mario Brothers. Yeah, I don't know. I got an email from Nintendo this morning about it, and apparently it's a thing. This Mario Day, March 10, of course, in MAR10, MARIO, whatever. So, yeah, Mario, of course, being a kid from the 80s, growing up in the 80s. What are you doing, dude? Seriously. Anyway, so being a kid from the 80s, Mario, of course, was a staple of my childhood. I was a Nintendo kid. And it took a long time to actually beat the original Mario Brothers. I got distracted with life and building things and doing other things, so I wasn't playing all the time. And it did take me a long time, eventually to beat it. As with many other games. Hell, I didn't beat Rad Racer until I was in college. Again, I got distracted with certain things and did not dedicate the time to practice in order to beat it. I still haven't beat Punch-Out, which, I didn't have Punch-Out growing up, so, I'm way behind in practice. But, Super Mario Brothers, fantastic game, really sort of defined the genre of platformer. There were other platformers beforehand since, but just nothing like Super Mario Brothers. And I always thought it was a trip. It's like, hey, it's not the original Mario Brothers. The original is this arcade game. It's like, Mario, where are you? So I think they called him Mario at the time. It's always weird. It always grated at me a little bit when people would say Mario Brothers. That's like people calling Babs Bunny Babes. Or what's his name? Harvey from Double Dare. The MC for Double Dare on Nickelodeon. Kids win. What was it called? It was the Tiny Toon Adventures video game. Bab's Big Break or something like that, or it's on Game Boy or something. I can't remember. It was one of the early Tiny Toons video games. And, not early Tiny Toons video games. There were only so many of them. Bab's Big Break, and it's like, Bab's Big Break by Konami. It's like, no. Not the right title for this. That's not the right name there. That's not how you pronounce. It's, Barbara Bunawowski Oversmith, or whatever her name is. Anyway, so Super Mario Brothers. The plumbing is a game. You're not like the others who get all the fame. When you think is in trouble, you can call us on the double. Faster than the others, you get hooked on the brothers. Ugh. Yeah, I remember that. I remember that one. Do you remember the Super Mario Brothers Super Show? Oh yeah, with Captain Lou Albano as Mario and Danny Wells as Luigi. That was a lot of fun. I loved that show. I was a big fan of that show. And then of course the Legend of Zelda on Fridays. And the girl who played Winnie Cooper, she was on that. I had an episode on VHS. It was the King Mario of Cramelot, which, that's a hell of a name right there. The show was so messed up. I mean, come on, Deke. Anyway, so, yeah, the King Mario of Cramelot, it had two of the live-action sequences. One was the one that had Winnie Cooper playing this like girl who ran away from home for attention, which was, they're just weird and kind of like surrealist in a way. These live action sequences. What was the other one? It was the Elvis one, yeah, where they got into a little sibling rivalry over who was the better Elvis impersonator, and then like Elvis showed up. It's like, what the hell? Mario goes to open the door, and he slams the door, and he's like, the Inquirer was right! It's him! Who? Him! It's the king! Oh, man, I was watching a clip earlier today of freaking Super Mario Brothers Super Show. I posted it to Twitter earlier today, and to the Facebook. Posted it over there today. It was the live action sequence from the episode where Luigi volunteered to fix Roddy Piper's bagpipes. And of course, it's like, oh god, it's Roddy Piper. And there were a lot of cameos by professional wrestlers at the time on that show. I assume because Captain Lou Albano was Mario. So Lou Albano is Mario. Of course, he's going to have all his wrestling buddies come by the show and be like, hey, let's be on the show. Come on. But it was so weird. It's like, Roddy Piper just trying to act like as Roddy Piper in this weird Super Mario Brothers surreal world. They're in New York, but it's a TV show, whatever. I never understood the guy with the. I guess he was like supposed to be like an electrical worker or something like that, sanitation worker. I want to say he's an electrical worker, but he's the guy. He comes up out of the manhole in the back of the Mario Brothers office place, house, whatever it is. I guess it's their house that they live in underground. I don't know. I don't remember that ever being explained. I remember seeing this guy, and it's like Cousin It. So all of his lines are VO, and he has this like kind of weird, high-pitched sort of New Yorker voice, and it's just like a mass of hair covering his face, like a mop, essentially. Like a yarn mop covering his face, and he's got either glasses or goggles on, like dark goggles, and a hard hat and gloves and coveralls. And he shows up. He just pops up out of the manhole every once in a while. Like I remember he playing chess with Luigi in an episode or something like that. It was just weird. Like I never understood like where this character came from, what he's supposed to be, besides just some like city worker, a utility worker, utility technician, whatever. It's weird. And they had like a phone, like a pizza phone, which is something you would expect out of like Samurai Pizza Cats or even Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, not Super Mario Brothers, but yeah, they had that pizza phone thing. And it's just a strange little world. And of course, the official story with Mario Brothers, they got from New York to the Mushroom Kingdom because they got sucked down the drain while working on a drain. It's a weird show. It was this amalgamation of worlds of Super Mario Brothers 1 and Super Mario Brothers 2, and the American Super Mario 2, of course. Birdo and Bowser. Bowser was like a recurring bad guy. There was an episode with Birdo. And it was just weird, dude. It was just a weird interpretation of that world. But it somehow worked. Like, it's a really campy and goofy show. Like, it was campy and goofy back then. But nowadays, like, going back and looking at it again, it's like, it's cringeworthy campy. It's a strange little show. But I enjoyed it. I loved the hell out of that show. When I was a kid, and Legend of Zelda coming on Fridays. I love Legend of Zelda cartoons. It is so ridiculous and silly and just awful, and I love it. Especially the not so subtle jokes. Looking good, princess, especially from this angle. It's just a terrible show, and I love it. But speaking of turtles, that was sort of the thing. It came on. The show came on at on weekday afternoons or something like that, like 4:30. It was at the end of the afternoon lineup for cartoons on weekday afternoons, and I remember I was watching I was expecting Super Mario Brothers to come on. I was expecting, hey, paisanos! And it was weird because, I'm watching there, and then, I just see this picture of a manhole cover. They have a new opening sequence? What is this? This is obviously still New York, and then Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle. I'm like, what the hell is this shit? What the hell is this? What turtle things? I don't understand this. Terrible. I don't like this. Where's my Super Mario? And then I watched it and I'm like, holy crap, this is good. I enjoy this. I became this die-hard Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles fan. Which I still kind of am. I haven't watched the new Michael Bay Turtle movies. And I haven't watched them sort of on principle. Because I don't want to feel that disappointment. I really don't want that disappointment with these movies. I've heard, I really respect. I actually really respect the opinion of Doug Walker. I really respect his opinion on films. I don't always agree with him, but I do respect his opinion because he is educated in film, but he also looks at a lot of stuff, a lot of the way I look at things, where I have sort of a cursory education in film and production and film history, and I respect and I enjoy film history, and I do try to look at things not necessarily as a film historian or as an academic. Well, I do look at it as an academic, but I respect his opinions. He and James Rolfe, actually, both of them. I respect their opinions as not just filmmakers, but as film academics. And when they're like, no, this is not a good movie, and they're the kind of people that like stupid stuff like I do, it might be terrible, but they still love it, and we have that same kind of worldview when it comes to appreciation. When they say it's terrible, I'm going to take their word for it at it being terrible. Now, maybe one day I might subject myself to it and give my honest opinion of it, but I'm not in any hurry to do that. I'm not setting out to do that. It's just going to be one of those things. If I do it, I do it. If I don't, to the Turtle movie. I'm not looking to watch it. I'm not excited about watching it. I have actively avoided the movies just for the sake of not being disappointed in them. I only watched like half of the Transformers movie, the first Transformers movie. I was not a fan. I did not enjoy it. Did not like it. I don't understand why there are, 4 or 5 of them now. I don't understand the appeal of these new movies. And I just didn't get into it. I was not impressed with it. It's just not something that's on my radar. It's not something I'm prepared to watch. It's not something I'm really interested in watching. Michael Bay used to make really fun, terrible movies. Like, I love Armageddon. Armageddon is still one of my absolute favorite blockbuster kind of movies. It is so silly and it's so unrealistic, but I don't care because it's just a lot of fun to watch. And it's an original kind of story. Well, original as you can get in that situation. It's not an existing franchise, is what I mean. The movies that Michael Bay did that were not already existing franchises are actually pretty good, pretty fun. Because there's no expectation. You're not going into it expecting something that you know. You're going into it expecting Michael Bay. And that's the problem I have with Michael Bay doing franchise films, is, yes, you expect Michael Bay, but you also expect the same feeling and the same caliber and the same just sort of ambiance of the original source material. And it's just disappointing to see Michael Bay just, piss all over it. And that's something I've really taken to with these franchise movies. Everything's being rebooted as a franchise film. The whole nostalgia trip, trying to capitalize, trying to get us late Gen Xers, early millennials. I feel like I'm right on the cusp. With the Oregon Trail generation, we're right there at the tail end of Gen X, and we're right there at the very, I have a lot in common with people 10 years younger than me. I also have a lot in common with people 10 years older than me. People who are solidly one or the other. I'm in the middle. They call this Generation Y for a while. Now, I feel like I have more in common with people 4 years older than me than I have with people 4 years younger than me in a lot of cases. So I do feel like I'm more of a Gen Xer in that case, but I'm not. I'm really not much a Gen Xer. I really honestly feel like there's another subset of the generation there. And of course, millennial and Gen X, neither one of those are statistically defined. They're marketing generations. So I would say that statistically, I would say I'm more of this Oregon Trail generation, and definitely marketing-wise, I'm more of this Oregon Trail generation, where we're the pioneers of the analog era and into the digital era. We were born at the end of the Cold War. The Cold War was ending, but we remember it. We remember the Soviet Union. We remember Reagan. We remember all this stuff. We remember the first Gulf War. I was in school during the first Gulf War. So I feel like there is a statistical difference. And of course, I'm saying saying this, statistical difference. I don't know. I'm going off anecdotes. I'm going off what I feel like. I'm going off. So, yes, you statisticians out there. Yes, you modern anthropologists. I guess it's anthropology. Is that cultural anthropologists? Yes. I know I'm throwing around the term statistical generation, statistically defined generation. But I'm doing it in such a way that I'm trying to make a point. That I feel like there is a difference. I feel like there is a subset of this generation from, I would say, like 1980 to about 1986, 87. Kids are born right around to that era. Maybe up to 88. Maybe. But definitely like 80 to 86. Those kids are definitely of a different generation than the millennials. I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that I was raised. When I was coming along, we had TBS and I didn't have cable until much later. We did not have cable in the house until a lot later. So, I watched cable television at my granny's house. And that was my exposure to children's pop culture, I guess. Besides what cartoons were on in the Saturday mornings. So my point being that I watched a lot of WTBS, which showed a lot of older programming. I think that's sort of ingrained in me personally. I grew up with the Andy Griffith Show. I grew up with I Love Lucy. I grew up with really a lot. That was a lot of Andy Griffith, I Love Lucy. Bewitched, all the Screen Gems stuff, Green Acres, Beverly Hillbillies, all those Screen Gems programs, Filmways, television production. But that was a big staple of my childhood. Sanford and Son, so all this stuff that was of a previous generation that was in syndication. That was my childhood. All the Hanna-Barbera stuff in the 60s and 70s, that was a big deal. But at the same time, I remember the fantastic world of Hanna-Barbera. Fantastic Max and Flintstone Kids, every other blank kids show. Marquee value! I'll give you marquee value! Yeah. So, I think that's sort of one of those defining things that makes me sort of unique. I don't know. I don't know many other people that had that sort of an upbringing. But, whatever. If you're out there, let me know. I'd love to chat. Just reminisce, wax poetic. Whatever. Anyway, so that's Mario Day. Mario! Anyway, that's all I got today, guys. Thank you for watching. We're here Monday, Wednesdays, Fridays, roughly 5 p.m. Again, today was a little early because I got out of the office. Whatever. Anyway, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 5 p.m. Pacific time. If you miss me there, you can always check out airbornesurfer.com. YouTube.com/TheAirborneSurfer and follow along on Twitter @AirborneSurfer. Got a few things cooking. I'll be posting an update video here pretty soon on the YouTube, YouTube.com/AirborneSurfer. I'll be posting soon there. And until then, tally ho, y'all.